Well, it's always crazy when something like this happens, when somebody's busted for selling basically an illegal console. Illegal because it is modified in some way. We don't hear about this a lot, but there were not one, not two, but 4 people who were just arrested in Japan for selling modded Switches. I am serious. So we got this right here from Automaton just today. 4 men referred to prosecution for selling modified Nintendo Switch consoles in Japan. The individuals allegedly sold Nintendo Switch consoles that were modified to run pirated games and show improved performance, apparently. The legality of this stuff is kind of interesting because on one hand, you know, you buy something, you go off and buy a Switch. It's a good that I now own, and so, you know, who cares what I do with it? You know, the government can't really decide what I can and can't do with it. It's no different than if I buy a sack of oranges right now. I can eat them, or I can, I don't know, throw them at my wall or something in my bedroom. It's the world's dumbest example, by the way, but you get the picture. Yeah, usually I feel that, you know, that is the case, but with something like this, it's a bit different. So we see right here that these 4 men have been referred to prosecution by Kyoto police on suspicion of violating something called Japan's Trademark Act. And then again, it says that they allegedly sold Switches that were modified to run pirated games and show improved performance. So yeah, as far as the Trademark Act, this is just something that is protecting brand names and logos and trademarks. And the reason why this would fall under something like that is because these individuals allegedly took these Switch consoles that maybe they did purchase, but then they modified the hardware allegedly, and then they allegedly preloaded the consoles with pirated games. That would be very illegal. And then of course they sold them as, you know, a Nintendo Switch by itself for money that they pocketed. They weren't in some deal with Nintendo. They didn't give Nintendo a cut of this. So always kind of interesting how that legality comes into play. So it goes on to say, according to investigators quoted by NTV, the group modified about 45 Nintendo Switch consoles. Now, only about 15 were actually sold, and that was through social media. It says they are estimated to have generated between $3,700 US and $5,600 US worth of yen. And doing some quick math here, that would mean they sold each console for around $300 US. And it says the act constitutes infringement of Nintendo's trademark rights, and all members of the group have since admitted to the charges. Yeah, that last part is very big. Apparently, they have all just basically confessed already. One note also to the article does say that they were pretty young. One was 18, one was 19, one was in their 20s, and one was in their 30s. So yeah, definitely a younger group. But as of right now, that's all we know. We don't really know exactly what they are charged with, but it does sound like they will be prosecuted in some way. Given the, I guess, relatively low amount of money, you know, this wasn't $1 million operation. I would assume they're not going to be in prison for the rest of their life for upsetting, you know, Mr. Nintendo. But yeah, overall, these 4 guys definitely got in some trouble for modding Switches allegedly and selling them. Definitely interesting.